Good morning, everyone. So today
Good
I'll be
morning, sir.
good morning. Good morning, Karan. Uh, I'll be conducting your first session as there is no power at Shikre Madam's place. So I'll be conducting the first as well as the second session. We will wait for 1 2 minutes. So far, 9 students have joined, and then we will start with the session.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, so we will start with a session on corporate governance. By the time the other students join in, we will just have a look what we had discussed in yesterday's lecture. In yesterday's lecture, we had discussed the duties of directors. Under those duties, few duties we had discussed. First duty, what we had discussed is to file return of allotments. Then second duty was to disclose interest, if any. Third was to disclose a receipt of transfer of property. Then duty of good faith, then duty of care, duty to attend board meetings we had discussed, duty not to delegate functions that we had discussed. Plus, we had also discussed duty to convene meetings. Under that, we had discussed duty to convene statutory meeting, then annual general meeting, and extraordinary meeting. Then duty to prepare and place at the AGM or before annual general board meeting the balance sheet, which consists of profit and loss account of the company, as well as a report related to company affairs. So these were some of the duties which we had discussed. Plus, we had discussed the constitution of a committee also. So now we will be, if you have any query related to duties or constitution of committee, you can ask me your question, or else we will start with a new topic which is called as board charter. Yes, any query? If you have any query, you can please ask me, or we will move to the next topic, which is called as board charter. Yes. Okay. So no query. Good. So we will take up a next topic, which is called as board charter. So yesterday, when we were discussing the duties of directors, we had discussed that these duties are mentioned in general duties are mentioned in the law which is called as Companies Law 2013, and in minute details the duties, the responsibilities are also mentioned in the article of association and memorandum of association of a particular company. Now, article of association consists of the role, responsibility, duties, authorities, powers of all the employees from the top to the bottom of the company. When we talk about board charter is limited to the board of directors only. It does not include the right or duties or authorities or responsibilities of the employees who are working in the organization or in the company. So this particular written document, which is called as board charter, or the rules and regulations of the board, which the board has to follow while functioning, that document is called as board charter. Now this document lists out the role, responsibility, composition, everything, but it is specific only to the board of directors, how it is to be constituted, how it should be functioning, who all should be the directors involved in the board meetings, everything related to the board of directors of that particular company is mentioned in board charter. Now, what all things are mentioned in board charter that we will discuss one by one. So the board charter of every company starts with the introduction. Now, in introduction, the details of the companies are mentioned: the name of the company, address of the company, type of the company, the business in which the company is doing, that is mentioned, branches, all the details of the company is mentioned in the introduction. As well as in the introduction, it is also mentioned the hierarchy, or we can say the structure of the board is also mentioned. The second point, which is included in the board charter, is called as purpose of the charter. Now, why this written document is introduced, that is the what is the purpose of this particular document? That is again mentioned in the second point of board charter of every company, that why this particular written document has been published. Next point is called as composition. Composition, yesterday we had discussed, today we will discuss in brief that how many directors will be there in the board of directors, maximum how many will be there, and minimum how many will be there, who will be the chairman, who all will be the independent directors, who will be the executive directors, who will be the non-executive directors. All these things are mentioned in the composition part or composition point, that is called as the third point of company charter. Next point is called as undertakings by the director. Now, undertaking by the director includes that the director gives it in writing that he has agreed to accept the invitation of the position of director of a particular company's board. So that undertaking he has to give all the directors. Suppose if 3 directors are there, 3 directors have to give a written undertaking. If 15 directors are there, or if 20 directors are there, all the directors are supposed to give individual undertaking related to that. We had discussed that we will be present for all the meeting. We will be devoting enough time for the benefit of the company. These type of undertakings are to be given by the director. Second point to be included in the undertaking is that they will not be indulging in any sort of unethical practice. Whatever ethical practices are followed, they will be following those ethical practices also, and they will not be involved in any secret profit while their tenure as a director in the board of directors of that particular company. So this sort of undertaking is to be given by each and every director of the board. The format is also given in the board charter. Now, the next point, which is included in board charter, is called as induction of new directors. Induction is when you are including new directors, when you are appointing new directors, how these directors are to be appointed. The details are mentioned, details in terms of qualification of such directors, then experience of such directors, and availability of such directors, that these directors who are qualified, who are experienced, should be present in how many meetings which will be conducted by the board. This is also mentioned in the board charter. It should not happen that a person is very experienced in his field, a person is very much qualified in his field, but he is unable to devote enough time to the board meetings for the benefit of the organization. Now such persons are cannot be included, or they are not fit to be part of the board of directors of that particular company. So induction, how they will be included, how they will be appointed, and after appointment, how their induction means that how they will be briefed, or who will be briefing them about the policies of the company, about the vision of the company, about the mission of the company, about the values which are practiced by the company, about the ethical practice which are being practiced by the company. All these things are to be included in induction of new directors. Although they are very much experienced, although they are very much qualified in their field, but they are not aware of the company values, ethics, and vision and mission. Now, these things are to be shared with them during the induction of new directors. How they are to be shared, who will be taking this induction of the new directors, is also mentioned in the board charter. Now the next point which is to be mentioned in the board charter is called as period of office. Period of office or tenure of office. For how many years or for how many months, if a director is appointed under on the board of directors or on the board of a particular committee, for how many months or for how many years he will be there as a director, what will be the procedure for renomination of the particular director. It is to be included in the board charter. That period of office, whether it is of 1 year, whether it is of 2 years, or whether it is of 3 years, that is to be included. Now, the next important point to be included is directors' remuneration. Now, directors' remuneration, again, we had already discussed. Just to give you a brief idea, that this particular remuneration may differ from one director to another director. One director may enjoy a better package than the another director. So it all depends upon their role, their responsibility, and their hierarchy in the of board of the directors of a particular company. So directors' remuneration has to be included in the board charter. Independent directors will be paid how much of package, whether that package which will include, apart from a salary, any incentive or any bonus, or it will include any perquisite with attached with it. So all these things are to be included in the board charter. I hope that you know perquisites. Perquisites, anyone? What is perquisite? Incentive, we know.
Additional
Benefit,
benefit, sir.
additional benefit. Can you give me an example? Yes, it is additional benefit. Very good.
For example,
Any
if we
example,
get
Karan?
yes, sir, surely. For
Hmm.
example, if an employee is having a birthday, the company
Huh.
would offer him some pay or something dine out vouchers like that.
Okay, that will be included in this thing, incentives or benefits to be provided, or additional benefit, we can say. But when we talk about perquisite, yes, of course, they are also called as additional benefits, but additional benefit which are attached to the particular designation. Now, suppose if a director is given, suppose a director is appointed on the board of XYZ company, and he is, because he is attached to that particular board as a director, he is provided a bungalow by the company, or he is provided a chauffeur driven car by the company. So that part will be called as perquisites, right? So that is called as perquisites, but it is also called as additional benefits. Now, directors' remuneration, all everything has to be written in detail, so that in future there is no confusion, there is no doubt in in the functioning of the board of directors. Now, the next important point to be included in the charter is called as role and responsibility. Role and responsibility of an individual director, and role and the responsibility of all the directors as a collective unit, and the role of directors who are part of various committees. Suppose remuneration committee directors are there, 3 directors are there. Whatever role they have to perform, that role is to be written in the board charter. That role has to be communicated to these directors, that this is your role, these are your responsibilities, these are duties which you need to carry out while functioning the particular committee meetings. So that is called as role and responsibilities. Next point to be included is board leadership. Now, board leadership, it is very simple. Board leadership means the chairmanship, that who will be the chairman of the board. Now, there is also a provision that suppose if a chairman is absent for the meeting, but majority of other directors are present, or we can say all the other directors are present. So there is a provision in the absence of chairman, and if the quorum is complete at that particular time, meeting is to be convened or meeting is to be conducted under the leadership of some other person. That person will of course be a director, and that person will be taking the position of chairman for that particular meeting itself. Now, how this will happen, that was also mentioned in the board charter. So board charter basically is a written document at length, which is mentioning all the duties or all the rules and regulations of functioning of board of directors of a particular company. So if a chairman is absent from a particular meeting, how he can be replaced by another director for that particular meeting only, it is mentioned in the charter. So that is called as board leadership. Next is board committees. How many committees are there? We had discussed certain committees which are mandatory, which are compulsory as per Companies Act 2013. but there can be other meetings as well if the company wants. Apart from these mandatory 4 committees, they can constitute other committees also. There can be 3 more committees, there can be 4 more committees. It depends upon the company. But whatever number of committees are to be constituted is to be included in the board charter. So that is called as board committee. Again, name of the committee will be there, then how many members will be there in the committee, what will be their qualification, what will be their experience, what will be their role, what will be their responsibilities, how many times they will be meeting, what will be their quorum. Everything is mentioned in the charter when we are talking about board committees. Now, next point is to be included is called as delegation. Now, yesterday itself, we had discussed the duty of a director that he is not supposed to delegate his responsibility to someone else because he is working in the organization in the capacity of a agent, and principal are here are shareholders. Now, here in some emergency cases, delegation is accepted, or the provision is there that a director may delegate his responsibility to some other person. But how he can delegate and in what emergency situation such delegation of authority is acceptable is to be included in the board charter. Next one is called as frequency and quorum. When we talk about frequency, it is very simple. Frequency means how many times in a year the board of directors of the company will meet to discuss the issues related to the functioning of the board and of the company. Whether they will be meeting twice a year, thrice a year, or 4 times a year, or maybe more than that, that is to be included in the board chart. Plus the other thing that is called as frequency. When we talk about quorum, now, quorum is a term which will be used, or earlier also we have used in this unit of corporate governance, and um, in the coming units also we will be using this term quorum. Quorum is QUORUM. Is anybody who knows what this term means? What is quorum? You need to understand this term will be used very frequently. Frequency is very simple. How many times meeting will take place of the committee which is constituted by the board, or how many times the board of directors will be meeting. That is included in frequency. But what is quorum? QUORUM. Yes, anyone? Quorum is
Minimum number of director or people required to conduct meeting.
very good, very good. Suraj, it is correct. Absolutely, it is correct. Minimum number of directors or members required to conduct a particular meeting. Very good. So it is absolutely correct. So that term is called as, in law, it is called as quorum. Now, frequency, we have discussed that how many times it will meet. When we talk about quorum is how many directors are required to conduct a meeting. Suppose 5 directors are there. When the meeting is held, meeting is called on say 15th or 16th of August. Out of 5, only 2 directors are present for the meeting. So can a meeting with only 2 directors can be called as a valid meeting or not?
No.
Can we say that So it will be no. But how many directors are should be there in the quorum? That is to be mentioned in the board charter. Generally, it is 2/3. 2/3 means around 67 or 68%, or around roughly you can say 70% of members should be present. That is the general. But for every company, it may differ, but it should not happen that the company is preparing a rule that out of 5, if only one director will also be present, then also a meeting can be conducted and that meeting will be called as a valid meeting. So you can make rules, but those rules should be in compliance with the general law or general rules mentioned under Companies Act, right? So that is quorum. Quorum is minimum how many members are required. Now here again one very important thing is there, that when suppose out of these 5 directors are there in a company board of directors, and in one meeting independent director, only one independent director is there, and in that particular meeting that independent director is absent. Now independent directors are given vast power than the executive directors. Now here whatever decision will be taken, now we can say that quorum is complete because minimum number required was more than 3, and out of 5, 4 directors are present. So meeting will be called as a valid meeting. But whatever decision has been taken under that meeting has to be ratified by the independent director later on. Then only that decision can be implemented. Otherwise, it cannot be implemented. So that is to check the powers of the executive directors of the organization. So because of this, the powers of the independent directors are vast, and they are given a power to ratify or to reject the decision taken under their absence with by the other board members of the company. So that is called as ratification of decision. Now the next important point included to be included under the board charter is called as attendance. Attendance. Now quorum we have already discussed how many members are required. Attendance, it is very simple that a register is to be prepared with for each and every board committee meeting and for each and every board of directors meeting. In that particular register, date should be mentioned, date of the meeting, place of the meeting, time of the meeting, and the name of the directors who were present for that particular meeting. And against their name, they should sign, the directors should sign their acceptance that they were present for the meeting or they are present for the particular meeting. Now, these registers are to be submitted whenever asked by the registrar of company, registrar under Companies Act 2013 to check whether they are following the rules mentioned under law or not, whether they are conducting meetings and whether the directors are present or not. So attendance is compulsory. They have to mention a register, and in that register all the details are to be mentioned. It is to be properly signed by the person who is present for the meeting. So that is included in attendance. Now the next important point is called as agenda, board papers and minutes. Now agenda, everyone knows what is agenda. Beforehand or before some time before the conduct of meeting, all the directors are mailed or they are sent by post or by hand, whatever the practice of the organization. is that what will be the agenda of the coming meeting? What points will be discussed in the coming meeting of a particular committee or of a board of directors? That is called as agenda. There can be 4 points, there can be 5 points, there can be 10 points. It depends upon company to company, or it depends upon the situation also, that how many points are to be discussed in the board meeting. Now, next is board papers. Now, depending upon the agenda, the information related to those points are to be prepared by the person who is in charge of that, or by a director who has been given that responsibility. That if they are discussing about, say, the one of the point is to reduce the wastage of the, or how to reduce the wastage of the company, or how to improve the profits of the company. So all the figures, all the documents related to these points should be placed before the directors on the day of meeting, so that they can discuss on these points effectively. Otherwise, what will happen? Points are there, but they do not have any information. Then there will be no meaningful discussion. Or we had discussed that it should be a concrete deliberation or meaningful discussion. Meaningful discussion will take place only when each and every director is given not only the agenda points, but also the supporting documents which are related to those agenda points, which he can go through before coming to the meeting table, and he can come prepared to the meeting table, and they can have a fruitful discussion on the agenda point. So that is called as board papers. And the next thing is called as minutes. It is also called as minutes of meeting. Now, every meeting is to be documented as minutes of the meeting. Whatever important points were discussed are to be documented. If any decision is taken, that is to be documented. So that is included in minutes of meeting. Now, the next point which is to be included in board charter is called as disclosure or conflict of interest. Disclosure. Now here, disclosure means if an independent director is appointed on the board and he is possessing certain financial interest in the company, or he is in possession of shares of that particular company which is in bulk, at the time of his first meeting itself, or at the time of joining or accepting the invitation of independent director itself, it is expected that he should disclose this information, that he is in possession of the shares of the company, or he has a investment of this much amount in the company. So that should be disclosed, and later on the board on that basis can decide whether they can appoint this independent director, or they are unable to appoint the independent director. If the director who is to be appointed has any conflict of interest with any other director, or if he is having any conflict of interest with the company, that is also to be disclosed, that is also to be made aware at the time when he is accepting the invitation, or when he is part of his first board meeting. So that is called as disclosure and conflict of interest. Now, I think last 5 minutes are remaining for the first session. So if you have any query related to the points of board charter, which is to be included, if you have any query, you can ask me the question. So we will have 5 minutes for question and answer, or if there are no queries, we can move forward. Yes, no queries. Now the next point which is to be included in board charter is called as indemnification and directors indemnification of directors and officers insurance. Now indemnification of directors, I think most of you would be able to recall that in our first semester in legal aspects of business, we had discussed this particular concept, which is called as indemnification. Indemnify, that we had discussed when we were discussing contract of guarantee. So in that we had discussed what is indemnification. So here indemnification is also to be included when the company is preparing its board charter. Now, what is indemnification? Can anybody just tell me what is indemnification? You can recall, it is very simple. Yes, try to recall, try to go to first semester. Chapter number 2, contract of guarantee. Under that, it was there. We had discussed also indemnification.
Compensation for any losses occurred.
Very good. So it is compensation for any loss. But that loss, how that loss is taking place, that is very important. Indemnification means when a person is acting in good faith, he is acting in good faith, and because of that particular act, he has lost some, say, some capital or some fortune or some money. Now that particular loss is to be beared by the company, is to be borne by the company, and that particular thing is called as indemnification. While carrying out the duties as a director of a committee or as a director of the board, if he has lost some money, the director has lost some money, then that loss is to be borne by the company, and that is called as indemnification. When we will be okay, I think only 1 minute is remaining. We will, yes, if any queries are there, last 1 minute, or I'll give you an example of indemnification also. Now, indemnification means, for example, suppose if a director is working as per the role and responsibilities which are expected of him, and while doing his responsibilities, if he suffers some loss, or suppose he has rejected a supplier's raw material because he think that particular raw material is not up to the standard of the company, and that particular supplier suffers loss, and he files a case against that particular director. So whatever charges the director